Hey, friends and family here on Facebook and on YouTube. It's Monday, and every Monday from this point on, Lord willing, I'm going to do Bible studies that are fun, informative, and going to set a foundational faith for you that will not be shaken. And that is my goal in doing these Bible studies. So I hope you have fun today. And I got saved when I was 17 years old. I'm 51 now. And I got a teaching 2 months in. Of being saved, about 2 months after I was saved, that changed my life forever. It set a foundation. It was such a simple teaching, but it set a foundation that has never been shaken. Yes, I've had many trials and tribulations. I've fallen and picked myself up many times. But that foundational faith in what God did for me and what Jesus accomplished on the cross has never wavered. And I owe it to this teaching I got. It was so simple, but it just set the stage in a foundation that has never been shaken. So here it is. I'm going to share that with you right now. It's so simple. I'm going back to the Garden of Eden. And we know that God made the heavens and the earth. You can read it in Genesis. And he made man out of his own image and breathed into him life. And he placed Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And he said, told Adam and Eve, out of every tree in this garden you can freely eat the fruit thereof. You can have free reign in this garden. But you see that tree there in the middle? The day that you eat of that tree, you shall surely die. Did they die the day they ate of that tree? Not physically. They died spiritually the day they ate of that tree. They lost their relationship with God. Their fellowship with God was broken. And not only was their fellowship with God broken, guess what else happened? The devil won the title of this earth, and he won the title of their very soul. He was the ruler of mankind, and he won the title of this earth. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, you will find out who the God of this world is. It is Satan. And he won that legally. So Adam lost a great deal back then. Now there's your foundation. Sin separates us from God. It breaks our fellowship with God. Adam lost the legal title to this earth and to his soul. Get a hold of that. All right, God knew he had to have a plan, and he had that plan from the beginning. He wants people to come to him because they love him, not because he tells them what to do, like he told them not to eat of that tree, but they ate of it, and there was a consequence to that. God wants you to come to him, not out of fear of going to hell. He wants you to come to him because you love him. And when you love him, you want to obey him. That's who God wants. And when you learn that this is all about love, and that's what it's all about, guys. Don't let the devil steal that from you. All right, Adam lost that. He lost that title to himself and to this earth. The devil had it. God had a plan. And I'm jumping to the Abrahamic covenant right now. God saw Abraham. Abraham was in Ur of the Chaldees in Mesopotamia. And he called Abraham and he made a covenant with him to bring forth this plan, to step out of glory and get that title back from the old slewfoot, from the devil. He called Abraham. He said, Abraham, I want to make a covenant with you. And in this covenant, if you do everything I tell you to do, your children shall be as numerous as the stars you see in the sky. And Abraham said, Lord, how can that be? I don't have any children. Sarah, my wife, is barren. We can't have any children. And the Lord said, Abraham, do all that I tell you to do, and your children shall be as numerous as the stars in the sky. Abraham said, okay, Lord. And they sealed that covenant. And sure enough, Sarah had a child, and that child's name was Isaac. And when Isaac was in his teens, God appeared to Abraham and said, Abraham, take your son, your only son, and take him to a mountain I'm going to show you, and there sacrifice him to me. And Abraham said, okay, Lord. But can you imagine what Abraham was thinking in his human nature? Wow. He tells me my children are going to be as numerous as stars in the sky. I don't have any children. I finally have a kid. He wants me to kill him. Abraham obeyed him. And you'll read in Hebrews chapter 11 where Abraham believed God and it was counted unto him for righteousness. No sin was held against him. So he had faith in what God told him to do. He obeyed God. He went to that mountain that God showed him. And there built an altar and was ready to sacrifice Isaac on that altar. And God, of course, stopped him. God was testing his faith. And he tests our faith today. God never tempts us with sin. We are enticed of our own lust. But God will test our faith to build it, to make it stronger, to make it unshakable, no matter what happens. I often wonder if I ended up in the gutter, would my faith still be strong in God? Yes, it would. But you know what? He has blessed me. But my faith is strong because I've got a teaching that has kept me strong in the Lord, and I'm sharing that with you right now. Abraham, he stopped Abraham, and that mountain that he told him to take Isaac to was Mount Moriah in Jerusalem. Later in Jerusalem. That Mount Moriah is the very same hill Jesus was crucified on. So God took his son, his only son, in that covenant with Abraham, and he sacrificed him. He stopped Abraham, but on that very same hill, Jesus was crucified. God stepped out of glory. He stepped out of eternity, was born of a woman, of a virgin. He was half God and he was half man. And he lived on this earth, tempted in all points as we are, yet he didn't sin. And what did he do when he didn't sin? He got that title back. He won that title back from the devil. He won the title back to this earth. And he was crucified on that cross. And in 3 days, he rose from the dead because death couldn't keep him. He got the keys of death, hell, and the grave. Read it in Revelation chapter 1. The greatest story in mankind. And he wants you to come to him because you realize how much he loves you. Not because you're in fear of going to hell, but because you know what he did for you and you realize what he did for you. All right, there it is. I hope that's a foundation for you. Until the next study. Until next Monday. Think of that, what I just told you. Start to read it. Open up that Bible. Go to the Gospels in the New Testament. Because some of that stuff's just a little too deep. But if you go to the Gospels and read the Gospel of John, Acts, and Romans, and read the epistles of Paul, you're going to start seeing what happened. And realize what Jesus did for all of us. Wow. Greatest story, the greatest love story of all. Until the next Bible study. Maranatha.